Side-scrolling games will become so interesting if we play this game with a hack-and-slash gameplay, so I'm sure it will create your experience becoming way more exciting then. All of the games that I will mention will show you how good the graphics are, combat fighting, and also the feature it has. But remember to help this video get 200 likes by tapping the like button. Top 10 best side-scrolling RPG action game hack-and-slash for Android and iOS. You can support this channel and send us a special thanks. Project Fighter or One Piece Ambition. Proudly I will acknowledge if this is the best new action RPG anime style with a side-scrolling gameplay. The way of the visual graphic is totally insane. Seriously, I can play this game in a whole day when it's released globally. Let me tell you earlier, this RPG has PvP features where we play in 3 versus 3 to know how strength and how powerful our ability is. The game has the actual One Piece anime storyline since we try to save the Zoro. Sometimes we have the same cutscenes, which is really familiar for us. The gameplay of One Piece Ambition is new brand ARPG side-scrolling with a casual gameplay where we can easily learn about the combat mechanism. The energy will slightly increase every second and we can collect more crystal energy each time it reaches the full gauge bar. The more your crystal energy has, the more damage will deal. And I love the skill showcase is pretty fascinating. Some of the partner will help us through the battle and she will do a random action. The characters doesn't need any mana points to unleash but only waits for the cooldown in a few seconds. No wonder if Project Fighter or One Piece Ambition was made by the official games developer. That's why the games represent the best graphic side-scrolling RPG hack-and-slash games for Android and iOS. Prometheus or Ring of Fire. Prometheus or Ring of Fire. This game is absolutely magnificent. I have waited for this game for so long because of so many reasons. The game only did the first beta testing and I was only able to try a few game stages. But that's all is really enough for me to be satisfied. The gameplay is absolutely fast, dynamic, chaotic, magnificent and needs fast response, especially since we are able to tap the dash button freely and frequently. So this game is the best side-scrolling action RPG that needs to play manually with no autoplay. The combat mechanism of Prometheus is, we will play within 2 heroes on our side. We can switch them up anytime to create a great combo. The skill will cost some energy, which is the energy will slightly increase in every second. The stronger skill will consume more energy, so we need to maintain it perfectly and try to launch it on the stronger enemies. Unfortunately, we don't have a chance on to know about the game's features yet. Hopefully, they will add the PvP as well. Ring of Fire or Prometheus is the best side-scrolling RPG Android and iOS with the best hack-and-slash gameplay. Astrak Knights of Veda. Astrak Knights of Veda. Such a brilliant visual, probably one of the best side-scrolling graphic games on mobile. This game's visual reminds me of vanilla-ware design at all. The way they create the building, characters, and how the atmosphere is really on point. It feels like the time goes back into a medieval era with a lot of townsfolk look so busy with their own job while we are at a village. It's giving a realistic experience. Astrak Knights of Veda is a high-graphic side-scrolling game that has been released globally right now. In the game, we can play and clear stage together with the other by matching up the match randomly. The combat mechanism is quite hardcore. The enemy's damage is way too high. We need to always stay aware to avoid the damage, like we are, because we can switch the hero between 4 characters with their own different weapon. Try to reach the blacksmith to forge the weapon and interact with the other players in the village. This is the best side-scrolling RPG games for Android and iOS. Above Everything Awakening. Above Everything Awakening. Suddenly this game appears in beta testing and I never know about the game's trailer, but I totally enjoy seeing this game on how games look like. 2D but inside scrolling gameplay. We'll play as a journey to the West character, which the game made from East country like a Chinese. The combat mechanism lets the player dodge any skill button to create a slow motion when we do a perfect dodging, and it will take a huge advantage by fasting the attack speed, then the rest is quite simple because any action will not be spent any stamina. As a character creation, I would suggest you to play the hero with a long stick because he will grant a huge area of effect skill and be able to transform his weapon into a bigger size. The tutorial is really few and we can't skip it at all. I didn't find any storyline at all, the game is only focusing on the action. Above everything, Awakening is the best game side-scrolling RPG for Android and iOS. Sword Dust. By the game size, I'm pretty sure you will be surprised about it. Just imagine this game only needs 200 MB in total and you have to get the best side-scrolling RPG games for mobile. The gameplay is absolutely super fast, dynamic and really good in combat. Actually, we play as a roguelike game where we play to win every single stage and will be rewarded by some option of abilities like increasing some strength. We can use the special skill when we have collected the energy fully recharged, and it's pretty simple to build up by hitting the enemy continuously. The one thing that I would like to remind you is we need to anticipate the boss's strength, especially when he reaches the lower HP, then he will be triggered to boost his durability, speed, power and determination. Sword Dust is the best ARPG side-scrolling games for mobile. Space Hunter 3. If I could remember, this game has existed for more than a few years, but the game is only available in a certain regions which is not released globally yet. Unfortunately, I think the developer has milked the player through releasing a massive number of the servers. Just imagine it has more than 200 plus servers, which is really crazy at all. Luckily, a lot of players love to play it. They always get a newbie players each time they launch the new server. No wonder the game's graphics are really insane. It's totally enhanced in a great way, and also how the combat mechanism is the main point why I recommend it to everyone. We'll play with 4 heroes in total. They all are switchable and we can unleash the skill whenever we want. Making a skill combo will be the best option for us, but we must tap the skill button accurately and try to not miss any button to cast a special combo. Only one thing that I think this game should be focusing on, which is the connection is always not in stable condition. Space Hunter 3 is the best new game side-scrolling RPG for mobile. Fighting Law. By playing this video, I reckon if the Chinese are always good at making the anime game into a side-scrolling gameplay at all, this game is one of the best examples of how the game has a great character design with a huge sword on his hand. In fact, there's the other classes, but this job really hit me from the first impression. Actually, this side-scrolling game has MMORPG games genre where we play with so many players in one server that we can see when we reach the lobby. Some of them even walk through and ask the NPC to interact with. The combat mechanism of Fighting Law is we can counter the heavy skill by the enemies by tapping a certain skill while the enemy casts the skill with a red line mark. Keep unleashing and combining the skill and make the enemies grappling on the sky to increase your combos. Right now, the game has a lot of server already and I don't know exactly when it will launch globally. In fact, I'm sure many action RPG games lover will play it then. The Outcast Mobile. When I play this game, I feel like watching an anime. Seriously, the game has so many cutscenes to tell us about the storyline. Even the combat will show us on cutscenes visual. It's full of voiceover. Even when we are just interacting with the NPC, we will represent with voice characters. Such a great attention to detail. The combat mechanisms absolutely impress me. The game has a dynamic combat with an intense skill showcase. We can freely use the skill even if we have more than 7 skills on the screen that makes us frequently unleash the skill by turn. Where we arriving at the city, you will realize how big the world as the side-scrolling game is, which we can explore the area and find someone to ask for. Unfortunately, I cannot understand the storyline. This is one of the best side-scrolling games that is playable to play but needs a specific account to log in. League of Stickman 3. League of Stickman 3. I never stopped watching the game's trailer. Seriously, it spoiled me too much by his gameplay and how the skill has so much cool flashy colors. All players who love to play an action hack and slash in side-scrolling gameplay would 100% fall in love directly from the first sight. The gameplay is absolutely magnificent. We can switch into some weapons and the skill will be adjusted automatically depending on which weapon are we using. I noticed there are some weapons that are available to play like broadsword, katana sword, gunner, knuckles. Every single weapon will show you how great the ultimate skill is with a nice special effect. The combat mechanism lets the player fill up the gauge meter by hitting the enemy with any action we do. The dodge button is available to use anytime without any limit. League of Stickman 3 is the best ARPG hack and slash game on side-scrolling Android and iOS games. Rules of Battle. Rules of Battle. If you notice the game's UI and how the hero has the same movement in action with my game in number 7, then you are totally right. But there is a lot of differences between them, which is the game's name and also how world has a different area as well, especially the lobby or the city looks like. It seems these two games were made by two different publishers. Mostly the publisher will push the developer to create a different storyline and also make a different role gameplay. Even if we see it through the overall aspect, it has the similarity. The combat mechanism lets the player unleash the skill whenever and whatever we want. No cooldown skill, no energy need, no stamina will consume. It's totally a freedom as the player who like to play the action hack and slash game for mobile. Rules of Battle is one of the best side-scrolling game RPGs for Android and iOS. Breaking It. Bonus, Breaking It. As usual, as a bonus, I would like to give you a game with a lot of interesting points that you can get. These side-scrolling games need a very small amount of size to download. The game has a beautiful art style and how the game has a simple storyline. So you must be focusing on the build up your hero to strengthen your power and start the adventures. In fact, the number of the monster is pretty massive at all, but we don't hunt the monster by ourselves because we will have a pet since the game started. Actually, the level of the difficulty is quite high. The monster durability is totally higher than us, so we need to consistently hit the enemy. The skill will be learned when we reach a certain level. These all are the best RPG side-scrolling games for Android and iOS. Remember to like this video and help us to get 200 likes. See you on the next video. Thanks.